Yeah, that's good milk. Greetings YouTube, welcome back to the MetaNerd channel. I am Marcus, bringing you another video for Cardfight Vanguard Overdress. Yes, I did miss 1 week of weekly reviews, but then it's okay. It's not really a lot of cards. Well, I will probably regret that once I get to record that. In any case, in this video, of course, we will be going through the Tuesday livestream Rideline review, which is the melons here. Yeah. Let's take a look at the melons, or should I say Ridelines. Since it's a new Rideline, of course, we will definitely have the new starter, Knight of Integrity Thegrea. As of now, most of Keter Sanctuary's Rideline does not have a restriction to the starter, so yeah, I imagine every single Keter Sanctuary player will be playing this as their Rideline starter. So really nice to have a really big starter. Next, of course, the Great One, beneath the Brillant Light Thegrea. Although when this unit is rode upon by Harsh Training Thegrea, reveal the top card of your deck, and if it is a grade 2 or less unit card, you may call it to rearguard circle as res. Return it to its original spot if you do not call. And of course, the Glitter skill. When the grade 2 ride on top of this grade 1 Thegrea, you basically get to check a top deck, and of course if it's grade 2 or less, you may call it to the rearguard. It's a very simple skill, it's a free +1, but then it says unit card. So if you drive check a order card, you won't be able to get anything out of it. It's not the end of the world for Thegrea. Of course, it's really unfortunate that it's restriction locked to a grade 2 or less, meaning that if you reveal a grade 3 on the top of your deck, it means that you won't be able to get anything, and of course your opponent will notice that. And since it's not gonna come out of the deck, you just have to put it on top of the deck, which means that your opponent knows what you're drive checking. But then of course, if you have any skills that let you draw one, yeah, that would actually be not as bad. But then again, if you don't have, your opponent is just gonna 5k guard or maybe want to pass your Vanguard, because they for sure the drive check is not gonna be a trigger, it's gonna be a grade 3, which is not really good. Also, if you do reveal a trigger unit, you can of course put it on top of the deck because it says you may call it. So if you reveal a trigger, you might as well just put it in the top deck and basically force your opponent to guard even more, be it a front or a crit. Of course, if you do reveal a front, for sure you'll want to call out more stuff to the front row to attack, which will basically force more damage or hand from your opponent, which is not too bad. And keep in mind, this is only the grade 1. Next, for the grade 2, Harsh Training Thegrea. Yeah, this pose is exactly the same as Asha for some reason. Well, I don't know which is bigger, either Asha or Thegrea, I don't know. Although when this unit is rolled upon by grade 3 with Thegrea in its card name, look at the top 5 of your deck, choose up to 1 card with Thegrea or Maple in its card name for among it, reveal it and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. Of course, the Glitter skill. This is basically just a consistency skill for you to get your other Thegrea as well as Maple, which is probably the strongest card that we have at the moment for dual nation support type. Although top 5 is not necessarily the most consistent out of any skills that check the top in the history of Vanguard, but then again, it's not too bad. But then again, there's also the fact that you still have a consistency issue, because this deck does have 2 types of grade 3 which you want to basically switch around when you're riding into them. So if you get the same type of grade 3, then most of your skill is just going down the drain. And yes, this does helps you with setting up your grade 3 turn, but then again, if you miss this and you didn't draw into your pieces, yeah, it's gonna suck a lot. But that's basically it for grade 2. It's relatively really simple skill. Next up, we have the grade 3, one who walks the path of light, Thegrea. Not exactly walking the path of light if you're wearing that kind of outfit, Thegrea. She has 4 skills. Woo! Continuous. The normal ride from your hand of a unit with Thegrea in its different card name from this unit on this unit also becomes a personal ride. Second skill, active Vanguard Circle. Once per turn, counterblast 1. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 grade 2 or less card from among them. Call it to rearguard circle and shuffle your deck. If one who blooms in the dark Thegrea is in your soul, choose up to 2 instead of 1. Third skill, Auto Vanguard Circle. At the end of the battle that this unit attacks, if this unit was placed by riding from one who blooms in the dark Thegrea, this turn, discard a card from your hand, choose one of your rearguard and stand it. And of course the Glitter skill. Yeah, that's a lot of skills in this one card. I mean, the skill tech is basically half the card space. Holy flark. This card basically turns any Thegrea in your hand, be it a different Thegrea, of course we will have another different grade 3 Thegrea, into a persona ride. So as long as you get either one Thegrea, you're persona riding for days. This is probably going to be the most powerful out of all the ride lines. Unless, of course, the Brandgate ride line decided to power creep Thegrea. Also, since you do need the other Thegrea in the soul, any cards that put other grade 3 triggers into the soul is very much appreciated. Cards like Diffuser Angel, or I think the another Angel, the two cards being revealed here. These two cards actually could put stuff from your hand to your soul or the drop zone to your soul and therefore recycle from Maple's skill. It's basically just pluses for days. It's so good, this engine. The rearguard restand is actually kind of similar to the grade 3 Bastion, but then it will only be active on the turn 4 or 5 depending on what you put in your ride line. You can put either the light Thegrea or the dark Thegrea. It's basically up to you. Since you will need to ride on top of the dark one, so if you ride the dark Thegrea on your third turn and you will have to ride the light Thegrea on top of the dark one, which means it will be at turn 4. And therefore unlocking your persona ride, which is somewhat a balance if you ask me. But then again, once you reach turn 4 is where all your skills go crazy, because you'll be at 100%. Well, it's not to the level of maybe Bruce, but then again, you are able to do some things in the third turn, so it's actually slightly better than Bruce. And as mentioned before, this card could be run in your right deck as your first grade 3 turn because he does Superior Call from the top deck. It's actually not too bad. And of course, we have one who blooms in the dark Thegrea. This is basically the counterpart to the light Thegrea. Similar to the light Thegrea, we have of course the personal ride skill, which is the same as the light Thegrea. The only difference here is the second and the third skill, which is active Vanguard Circle. Once per turn cost, retire 2 of your grade 2 or less rearguard, choose up to 1 of your opponent's rearguard and retire it. If one who walks the path of light Thegrea is in your soul, retire all your opponent's rearguard in the same column as the chosen unit. The third skill, auto Vanguard Circle once per turn. At the end of the battle that this unit attacks, if this unit was placed by riding from one who walks the path of light Thegrea this turn, cost counterblast 1 and discard a card from your hand. Stand this unit and it gets drive -1 until the end of turn. So it's basically either you want to focus on the rearguard attacks more or you want to focus on she herself restanding. But then again, you will want to basically play both of them in the same deck to get 100% of Thegrea skill. So again, Persona Ride for days because the first skill is just insane. I wish every single deck have this, but then of course, if every single deck has this, then yeah, the metagame is disgusting. And also, should Thegrea gets a grade 4 in the future, it is also treated as a Persona Ride because it only says a unit with Thegrea in different card names. So as long as the grade 4 has Thegrea in its card name, that grade 4 is gonna be the first grade 4 to be able to Persona Ride when you ride into the grade 4. It's absolutely insane. Instead of Superior Calling from the top deck, you're able to retire a column. But then again, trading 2 of your rearguards for 2 opponent rearguard, I don't think it's gonna be the best. But then again, you do Superior Call from the top deck quite a lot in this deck, so it's actually not too bad. Cards that put the other light Thegrea into the soul is greatly appreciated for you to kind of accelerate to get the full skill on turn 3. But then again, she does not get the restand because you need to ride on the light Thegrea to get the restand. So, I mean, this is kind of to balance out Thegrea a little bit. She's really insane. This light Thegrea does not really minus like the light Thegrea because light Thegrea needs to discard 1 to restand a rearguard, whereas this one is just discard 1 to draw 1, so you don't really minus 1. For this dark Thegrea, you basically just get back 2 without losing anything. You just need to discard 1 to restand and get back that 1 card from the drive check. Whereas the light Thegrea, you need to discard 1 in order to restand and then you don't really get anything out of it. So, I mean, you do get an extra attack, but just that you will be -1 from your hand. That's basically the major difference in terms of the light and dark Thegrea. She's also a great choice to ride into should you find yourself actually running low on rear guards, or maybe it's really late game where your hand is like very bad at that point. Since she does restand, it's actually not a really bad play. If you just so happen to have the light Thegrea on your Vanguard circle, this is actually not bad. With the amount of pluses that this Rideline has, it's no wonder why Bushiroad put a restriction on the main. Imagine the main being able to play inside Thegrea. It's so broken. But then again, yeah, those are the two boss unit that we have, light and dark Thegrea. Anyways, the dual nation card, Atrocious, Moth Girl, Maple. Even the card is confused whether or not to call this Maple a Atrocious unit. Auto drop zone. When your grade 3 or greater Vanguard is placed during the ride phase, if you do not have a unit with Maple in its card name, you may call this card to rearguard circle. If there are 2 copies of this card in drop, you can only call 1. And of course, the glitter skill is tied to Thegrea. Auto rearguard circle. At the end of the battle that this unit attacks, cost Soul Blast 1 or more cards. Choose a card from your soul with the same grade as the sum of the grades of the card Soul Blast for this cost. Put it into your hand and put this unit into your soul. This is probably the most broken dual nation support of the set. Any deck from Keter Sanctuary as well as Thegrea is able to abuse this card. Well, not as much for Bastion, but then each and every other deck within those nations is able to abuse this card. Not particularly for the glitter skill, more so for the first skill. The first skill, it's free. You only need to ride and you're able to call Maple from the drop zone. Free! And not to mention, you're able to put on the aggression early game because you will always want Maple to be in the drop zone. And since she's a grade 2, you're able to just intercept it away and basically call her back after the next turn when you ride a grade 3 or grade 4. It's just too good. It's just too good. The glitter skill allows you to kind of recycle Thegrea from your soul. You will want to keep rewriting Thegrea over and over again, and of course you will be running out of Thegrea like really fast. And since you do have stuff that put Thegrea from the drop or your hand to the soul, you're able to recycle them at the end of the turn. So this card does makes the whole Thegrea Rideline an absolute monster. As mentioned before, Persona Ride for days. And you wonder why those things on Thegrea is so big. And not to mention, she does goes to soul, so any cards that basically could soul blast her out is greatly appreciated. For example, Painkiller Angel. Yeah, soul blast one to draw and then put Maple to drop zone. The pluses in this deck is insane. It's really good. If you are a Thegrea as well as a Keter Sanctuary player, get this card. It's a must. Unless you're playing Bastion, then that's a different story. And also, for Thegea, but you could basically just use Maple for the cost of Tearful Malice. This card is just insane. You're able to get a soul as well as a counter charge and a draw. It's insane. And that is all for this video. Whew, that's a lot to cover in this video. In any case, do let me know down in the comment section on what do you think of the melons. Do like and subscribe if you like this video, and of course do ring the bell notification icon so that you don't miss a video I upload. With that being said, I'll see you all on the field.